Expect a lot of my choices for some future 1001 movie challenges to be inspired by CNN's The Movies, including this one. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back, and today I will be checking the Big Chill off the 1001 movie checklist. If you don't know what the 1000 movie checklist or 1000 movie challenge is, it's basically a challenge I've given myself to check every single film off the 1000 movies you must see before you die book. So far, I've checked 179 films off the list. If you want to know more, there's a playlist up there with every single film I have checked off so far in the series, along with an intro video. As always, let's get started with a short summary. A group of 7 former college friends gather for a weekend reunion after the funeral of another friend from college. While watching this film, there wasn't a whole lot that I really wanted to pull out and talk about because it is a very slice of life type film, which I really enjoyed, and I love the way Lawrence Kasdan, the director, used this slice of life format to slowly give the audience little bits and pieces of each individual person's history, as well as their history as a whole or in tiny pockets of friends. This made it one of the very few times where the show don't tell method was not necessarily needed for me, because the writing was so smooth and well done that every little thing that was said is something that you need to grab onto, because it could be a little bit of information about one character's relationship to another, or the relationship of the group as a whole, or their relationship with the deceased friend. Just giving you a very small peek into the lives of these friends, and you can feel that there is so much more outside of just this little bubble in this house. They have other lives outside of it. You don't necessarily get to see those or get to hear a lot about them, but you get tiny snippets of them because they're friends and they know everything about each other pretty much, that when they catch up, it's really just to catch up about other things, and you don't necessarily need or get all of the backstory. This is also done very well in the intro scene in the intro montage. As soon as Glenn Close's character hangs up the phone and turns around to look at her husband and her son in the bathtub, you can tell exactly what has happened by the look on her face. And then the intro montage introducing you very slightly to some of the outside lives of each of these characters and giving you a little bit of each of their personalities. This is also replicated in a second montage towards the top of the second act when they are all unpacking to stay the weekend at the house. Everything is very similar. Whenever somebody puts something down, the way the shots are edited together and composed are very similar, and each person has very different stuff that really gives an insight into their personality. Although I did notice a lot of hair dryers. There are so many hair dryers, but it is also a movie made in 1983, so everybody was getting that big hair. Both the opening montage and the unpacking montage really show and give you a great sense of how each of the characters deal with grief. In the opening montage, while it is news that is fresh to them and they had just heard it, they are all very sad and dealing with the grief in different ways. And then after the funeral, when they're all unpacking, they aren't necessarily as burdened down by grief, besides Glenn Close's character, who is crying naked in the bathtub, which I'm not going to show, or I'm going to blur it out like I did with The Graduate, because boobs, which also gives you a small little tip into there is something a little bit bigger here with her character and the deceased character. And yes, this is a very short video because, again, there isn't much to talk about. It is a very slice of life film, and there's probably more I could dig into it, but there's nothing that really gripped me to really talk about it in depth. And the montages and the story structure, I talked about them as much as I could, so let's just get down to the clip. It is a very short little sequence of a moment in the film that I absolutely love, because I just started laughing as soon as it just passed by, and I probably wouldn't have noticed it if I hadn't been like really watching it for some reason. I don't know why I was so focused on it at that one point. It's a small little moment at the very end of the scene where Meg is asking Sam to help her get pregnant. It's just a kind of little joke that was thrown in there, I feel like, that gives this film a lot of levity despite it being a film about a funeral and friends coping with grief and other dramas within their relationships with each other and their families.
Meg, you're giving me a massive headache.
You're not going to use that old excuse, are you? You've got good genes.
And that is all I have for The Big Chill. As always, these are just my opinions, but I'd love to know yours in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of The Big Sick. If there is anything else that you think I should have expounded upon, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I will comment back and talk about some of that stuff with you, because I want these videos to be more discussion videos. I feel like that's not necessarily a lot of what happens sometimes, but let's do some discussion in the comments down below. And if you want to know which films I have already watched or just follow my progress along in general, there is a link to a Google Doc in the description down below with a list of every single film I have checked off so far. Or you can just check on my Letterboxd, where I have a list of every single film I have checked off so far. I'm also an Amazon affiliate, so if you'd like to start the challenge for yourself, watch the movie I talked about today, or watch the movie I'm going to be talking about next time, there are links in the description. And if you purchase anything from those links, I'll get a small percentage back that'll help make this channel even better. The next movie I will be checking off is one that I have wanted to watch for years and years and years, since I started my film studies journey like 6 or 7 years ago back in college, and it's one that I have never found time to watch somehow, and that is Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you, whoever you are. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I like to talk to things, movies, TV shows, film, and film history, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!